This is Eric Myers, and this is my project on the Watts riots, the Black Panthers, and Black Power. We will be starting with the Watts riots. Here we're going to be traveling to Watts, Los Angeles to get a better look at where this happened. Watts was a predominantly African American community at the time, with conflict between the LAPD and residents of the town. The riots started when Marquette Fry was pulled over for drunk driving, turning into an altercation between police and the residents of Watts. Similar to most civil rights protests, Watts hoped to end police brutality against African Americans and discrimination in jobs and schools. It occurred from August 11th to 16th in 1965, lasting for 6 days and becoming very destructive. The total damage done from the riots was around $30 million in property damage. Not only were there many property damages, but 34 people died in these riots and 1,034 people were injured. These riots marked a shift from MLK's peaceful protests to violent riots. We will now be traveling from Watts to Oakland to see our next topic. The Black Panthers. These are the real Black Panthers. This is not the real Black Panther. Leaders Huey Newton and Bobby Seale formed this new radical political party in Oakland, California in 1966. Similar to the Watts riots, the Black Panther Party's main goal was to put an end to police brutality in their community. As a political party, they advocated for self-sufficiency for black communities, full employment, decent housing, blacks' exemption from the military, establishing daycares, free breakfast, free medical clinics, helping the homeless, and gaining equal rights. One could identify the Black Panthers by seeing their black leather jackets, black berets, and sunglasses. The Black Panthers sold writings by Mao Zedong, a Chinese revolutionist. They showed their radicalism during shootouts with the police. We will now be traveling from Oakland to United States as a whole. For Black Power. The Black Power movement began when Stokely Carmichael referenced it and described it at a rally in Mississippi in 1966. This provoked African Americans to violence and antagonized the whites. Carmichael described Black Power as a call for black people to begin to define their own goals and lead their own organizations. Out of the three topics, Black Power can be seen as most influential due to it being said across the country and not just in a specific geographical area. This Black Power movement was seen in sports, as pictured are athletes doing it in the Olympics, businesses, and local communities. The Black Power movement promoted not as many nonviolent revolutions, physical self-defense, and violence, which led to riots like the Watts riots and radical groups like the Black Panthers. The symbol for this movement is a black fist, representing African American cultural, economic, social, and political pride. A prominent civil rights activist that was against this movement was Martin Luther King, as he did not like to preach for violence. As a direct result of the movement, the SNCC was urged to stop hiring white people. Black power during the civil rights movement is now being compared to modern-day athletes in sports kneeling during the national anthem. Just like the Black Power movement, in which people would raise their fists to demonstrate they are against police brutality, Modern day athletes at all levels are kneeling during the national anthem to protest against police brutality.